Talking VAs. It is so good to be here with you folks. I'm going to just give it a second here. I know a bunch of people wanted to jump in on this, or a few people that had questions. If you got Q&As as we go along through this, we'll keep it pretty casual. Knock out your questions over here in the comments, and I will do my best to keep up with those. But I'll also take us through a pretty straightforward sequence just on how we're going to hire, fire, lead, build the VA team process. At our agency, Scenthold, we've done that a lot over the years. Dozens of folks have worked with us in different capacities all over the world, and it's been a really, really cool thing. So jump in here and ask your questions if you get stuck, or if we can help with something, please let us know. So let me just make sure I pull up our list of questions here from the group, because some folks asked when I was just letting people know we're going to be doing this. The questions really are good, by the way. Keep the questions coming. I love answering the questions of the group, and there's light to this topic because a lot of folks in a really, really strong way. So questions up. Here's the best is for me to kind of roll through how we act process and then hit questions as they're in those in the comments. And so let's walk you through. So there's the hiring process, and there's the leading process, and then there's different directions that goes. So you may be hiring a VA, right? You may be hiring somebody and then leading them as you go. To make sure that the leadership process, if you found the right person, has to go a certain way for you and them to really get together, that you need to have for your agency, that they need to have to be fulfilled as a on your agency. If that keeps going well, then you want to make sure you're helping them grow as a person, helping your agency. If it goes poorly, you want to make sure you have a way to get out of that and to do it gracefully in a way that's profitable and the person, and also for you as an agency. So the process of hiring someone is really, really important. So there's lots of places you can find virtual staff members. So a VA is a virtual assistant, virtual staff members. There's places that are the larger collections, like what's up, John? Great to see you, man. If you have questions, jump in there, fire away as they come up. We're just jumping into talking about hiring. So as you're hiring a VA or someone virtually, it's really, really important to make sure that you're sourcing that in a way that lines up with what your agency actually needs and who you as an agency owner are. So Michael, great to see you. Make sure that as you're joining in the hiring process, that it's wrapped not just around your agency's needs, but your needs as a person. So when I'm doing this, I literally do a personality profile test on myself. I'm sure you've all taken those in the past. There's strength finder tests out there. There's the DISC profile. It honestly doesn't matter which one you do. They're all pretty similar. I'm no personality expert. I know some people get all tangled up in those, but bottom line is they all generally do the same thing. They help you understand what you're great at and what you're weak at. I hire people who fill my weaknesses. So as an entrepreneur, as a person who's relatively creative, and I'm insanely good at building systems, and I'm insanely good at building people. Okay, so I'm pretty creative. I'm really good at processes and systems, and I'm really good at people. So I don't need to necessarily fill a people or process gap on my team when I first started out. I need to build a creative person. I need more creative support. I'm horrible at details, for instance, and my DISC profile or whatever test I take says just that. I'm horrible. That's right, Michael, schedule your life first. Absolutely. This is building this around my life and the way that actually works. I'm horrible at details. So my first VA hire was somebody to help me with details. All right, that was calendaring and emailing for me. And I literally cut about 2 hours of my day out just like that by not having to deal with my calendar or my email. I literally don't do my own calendaring and emailing and haven't in years. It's great. I don't like an inbox. I'm not good at inboxes. So find out what your strengths are, find out what your weaknesses are, find a VA that actually fills your weaknesses first. If this is your first VA hire, that's super critical. Obviously, this person, it'd be nice if they could grow into other positions that your agency might have a need for, but freeing your time up first. You're probably the best prospector, best salesperson, best closer, best creative director, whatever you are, if you're holding all of the hats right now as an early stage agency owner. You want to do that. If you're an advanced agency owner and you already have staff, then those VA staff members can be fit to fill those perfect niches. So I build a grid. I just simply build a spreadsheet, and I make sure. Let me just make sure I'm reading those comments. Yeah, wealth dynamics is a good one too. Absolutely. Yeah, great, Michael. I'd love for you to expound on that comment because I want to know more about what you mean there. I make sure that as I build a grid, a spreadsheet, I'm listing all the needs, all the things I wish the perfect VA could do. And again, I'm not trying to replicate myself. I'm trying to make sure that I'm listening to things that my VA needs to provide for our agency or for me so that my life can run and my agency can run smoother. Then I go out and actually, if it's on a larger outsourced platform like a Fiverr or Odesk, or what is Odesk called now? I forget. It's been a few years since I've used that one. But those larger platforms have tons of VAs on them. It's not a bad place to find some specific niches if you need a site built or a funnel built or ads built, or there's some of those things. But the bigger thing to do is to find a staff member that you can hire just for you. So we've hired all over the world in probably a dozen countries, all through Europe and Asia and through the Pacific Islands, all over the States, Canada, UK, I guess that'd be Europe, wouldn't it? I actually hired 2 people in Australia at one point. We have some great Australians in this group. So wherever you hire from, it doesn't matter. All right. People think time zones and all that stuff, but don't think about that for a second. Just think about the people. The biggest thing that matters is, does this person fit the need? Is it actually this person's skill set, their disc profile, however you want to help them think through who they are? Do they fit the specific need that you have? That's a really important thing with hiring. Second thing is, so if they do, great, they have the right personality and skill set for you. Can they accomplish what you want done for your agency? We use the term willing and able in our agency quite a bit. So are they able? Let's talk about that first, meaning their profile as a person, who they are, how they think. Are they actually able to do that? And willing, are they actually wanting to do the work for you and wanting to jump in there and actually push things along really quickly? Um, yeah, personal attribute test, Michael. I get what you're saying there. Yep, you're so right. Um, and great, thanks for joining. We've got some more people coming here. Again, if you have questions, fire away, comments, fire away. I'll take them as we can. Um, okay, so back to the hiring thing and where you hire from. If they're willing and able, awesome. All right, we've talked about that. Now let's talk about money. It costs money to hire a staff member. So when we hire in the States, you're going to pay anywhere from 15 to, I don't know, 35 bucks an hour, on the high side, depending on the skill set. If you think about it this way, here's a great way to think about this. Again, you get what you pay for in some ways. I'm pulling my calculator from my phone. An hour times 2,000 hours. If that was a full-time person at $35 an hour, um, did that wrong. That's a $70,000 job right there. Okay, that's a high-level administrator or pretty high-level staff member, depending on the skill set. At 35 bucks an hour in the States, in Canada, and the UK, if you want to convert that to pounds. Um, on the also Australia, if you're hiring somewhere in, like from subcontinent of Asia or Philippines, the conversion rates and the pay rates are drastically different. So hiring someone, let's say, for $4 an hour, $5 an hour, $6 an hour can be a really great pay rate in those cultures. It just depends on where you're hiring from. And that's a really important thing to think through, because you want to be able to offer your VA an amazing opportunity to better themselves, to grow with you and your company, your agency, but you also want to make sure that you're offering them something sustainable. So you don't want to hire a VA here for me here in the States if I can't make that a sustainable offer for that VA. If I don't have the budget for that, I should go hire someone that's a lower cost opportunity for me and still a great opportunity for them. But that way it's sustainable. That way I'm actually giving them an opportunity that really can reach who they are and keep that momentum going for them. Okay. Next, let's talk about the leadership of this. So you're gonna find the person that works for you, that's best for you, that fits your agency, your model, you as a person. what you actually need doing. You're going to go out and source them. Let's talk about how you actually source them a little more. So wherever you find them in the world, there's agencies out there that do that for you. They're actually pretty good. I've used one for our staff in the Philippines called virtualstafffinder.com, virtualstafffinder.com. I'll see if I can pull it up here. Virtual Staff Finder. I'll drop the link for this one. There are no affiliates, just so you know where I'm coming from. Yeah, there we go. I've used these folks quite a bit. I'll drop this in the comment feed right now. There we go. That one there is one that you pay them $500 and they do all the background screening, the personality profile test, the English language test, the writing test, all that stuff. You tell them really specifically what you're looking for and they help you find staff in the Philippines. And they've been really, really great. If you don't find the first 3 they send you, they will send you more. And they'll keep kind of going over that until you find the right person. They've been really, really great. Let's see. Virtual assistant. I'm just going off the top of my head here. This is another really interesting website, a great resource to use. This guy, I forget this guy's name, but he's together. This guy together an interview set of all the VA companies that are out, how they operate, what their costs are. He's interviewed a bunch of the ownership. I'll drop this in the comments as well. Hang on, here it comes. Really fascinating. You can actually jump in there and get to know the different companies and find out which ones work best for you. So if you're looking at hiring a VA or a VA staff team, this is a great way to do that from all over the world. He's got locals and not. If you're hiring in the UK, Canada, or the US, I've used Worldwide 101, and they have changed their name recently. Let me find them real quick. I think they're called Boldly now, Worldwide 101. There we are, Boldly. They are a staffing service thing. Say it this way, if you can do that, right? Renting people, that's not how it works, but you get the idea. You're actually renting their staff. These actually work for, and I'm dropping that one in the comments right now as well. They actually work for Boldly, and they're fantastic. That's UK, Canada, and US staffing. That's where the staff members are located. We've hired many people from Boldly as well, and they're a great company. Their ownership has become great assets and allies for our company. They've been fantastic in helping us grow. So they're paying their staff a little less than you're paying them, but they take care of all the HR issues. They take care of staffing. They take care of finding the right person for you. If a person has to leave or quit on you, they instantly come in and replace it. They build processes around. They do a lot of stuff. It's just a higher ticket, but it gets the job done. So there's some ways to find some staff members. Let's talk leading your staff members, okay? Let me hit the comments up here real quick and make sure. Yes. Talk leading your staff members. And there was a question I had in the group earlier about this. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to back up one thing. I had someone reach out to me on LinkedIn about doing an internship for us. Have you ever considered having an intern VA, and why, and what responsibilities do you feel they could deal with, and what if they don't meet expectations? Great question. So yes, we've had people reach out to us many, many times for internships. That comes in 2 forms typically. I don't know which way yours is happening, Jay, but typically they're wanting to do an internship and they're actually wanting to work for free, was out in some way, and we can kind of help promote them as a good VA in the future. I want to help us with admin stuff, with videography, design work, whatever it is we're doing. They may want to get our model, they may want to understand our agency, they might understand how to be a VA, how to promote themselves as a VA. If it's for, they're learning from us and harvesting our data information and who we are, our DNA, and that's got some risk associated with it, right? I never know how it's going to go. I don't like that model as much, just because, yeah, it's very affordable, really cheap, it's free potentially for us, but I like having a gift in a relationship that's an employment relationship where I'm actually, and they're doing a job and there's a contract place where that's fixed and done. That's just my right there. If they're looking for an internship and they're saying, hey, I have to work for you at a lower cost though, because I'm just getting into what it is they do, and there's going to be a little more time that it requires from us to actually lead them to be at what they do. That's understandable. We before in the past, and that model I actually do. I love training and teaching, and Jay, you do too. Jay, you and I got to talk the other day, so I know that's your heartbeat. The thing to do there is just have a contract. We have a contract that's an independent contractor relationship. So we're actually hiring that person as an independent contractor. They're not our little employee. They're a contractor. We're outsourcing to them. And that contract really details out, hey, your roles and responsibilities. Here's ours. We're going to pay you. Here's the agreement for 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. Here's how we unconnect if something right. Here's how you get paid. And we keep that really, really structured. So there's accountability and that kind of in place. But doing that internship is okay. In that contract, non-compete language as well, because I don't want something in if they're trying to model and copy what we're doing. We have a lot of customer client information. I want to make sure keeping that really safe and secure. All right. That's a really, really important thing to do. So having a little contract in place really, really matters. All right, let me jump on to one more question here. I'll just keep these going as they fit in context. What quality to look for in a VA about talking to or hiring a VA if they're not meeting expectations? Let's answer what's the biggest quality in a VA, and they'll answer the firing and expectations thing in a second. Because it'll go towards the end a lot better. Awesome. Okay, so biggest quality to look on, just stepping back into how do you find they, again, the biggest quality is do they fit by the way they're wired, their personality and their skill set, who they are today, already without training. Do they fit our group? Do they fit me, fit the rest of our team? Are they actually the strength that compensates for some weaknesses as a team? If they're that, then yes, they're going to be a potentially great team member. I'm looking at ability, and I'm looking for that initial fit. Let's talk about managing the team. I don't know if I can actually share my screen on a Facebook Live. If I can, tell me how, and I will. But ultimately, here's something to think through. Managing our team members from a virtual standpoint is really, really simple. We do a 30-day, a 90-day, if I can use my fingers. So a 30-day, a 90-day, and then a 120-day review with our staff members. So the day they get hired, once we found the right person, we clearly explain what they have to do, what their jobs are. We walk them through. They have this whole packet they get. We send them a link that drops them into our Google Drive with a bunch of SOPs, standard operating procedures, that shows them exactly how our agency runs. We highlight responsibilities are there so they can watch videos from our staff members. They can watch videos. They can read the documents that are relevant to their tasks and their job. And we make sure that they're really up to date on what's required from them. We want to make sure that that's a super clear and straightforward process for them. We also walk them through on day one their employee evaluation. So even if they're a part-timer, they're working 1 hour a day, if they're working 10 hours a day, whatever it is that they're working for us, they get an employee evaluation to walk them through on day one. And that shows them, here's the things that we're grading you on. Here's the production, here's the mentality, here's the kind of things you have to do to be an awesome team member at Scenthold, my agency. So that's really clear. At the 30-day mark, we do a mock review. We take that employee evaluation out on the screen. We do a Zoom call, whatever, and we actually walk it through with them. It's actually in their Google Employee Drive, so they can see all that. They get access to it, and we walk them through, and they get to score themselves, and we score them next to it, so we can have a good conversation of how this is going and what they could do better at, worse at, that kind of thing. It's really important to have those clear conversations right up front. And then at the 90-day mark, we have a real review. All right, this review matters. It goes in the books. The 30-day one gets erased. It's just a temporary trial, so they know what's coming. No surprises. Honestly, If you've got an employee, if you've got a staff member who's not performing the way you want them to, and there's frustration going on, that this is harsh to say, but that is a management problem. If something's not going right and they're not catching on and they're still on your team and you're 30 days in, you've got a management problem. You should have been communicating early and often exactly what you want them to do, how it happens, giving them lots of support, lots of teaching, lots of training, helping them understand what to do. That is so, so important. Okay. So the 30-day review, day one review shows them here's what's coming on the 30-day review. The 30-day review, there it is. They've got it. There's clear communication. You're leading your team, and that's perfect. The 90-day review counts for real. We walk them through all the different steps, all the different things they're responsible for. The first 3 on ours, which are not job specific, but every team member on our staff member, we have the playground rules, we call them. Are you honest? Meaning, do you tell the truth, right? Do you have integrity, meaning you're not stealing or cheating the system in any way? And do you act professionally? So are you nice? So do you tell the truth? You don't cheat and you're nice. Wow, you'd make a great kindergartner and a great person on this whole team. Because if you can be a great kindergartner or a 5-year-old on a playground and work by those rules, not bite anybody, not hit anybody, not call people bad names, be a professional, don't lie to people, don't steal people's toys, or in our case, our agency's money or resources, then yeah, we have a great thing to work with. So we walk them through that, plus all the different job responsibilities they have. Day 1, 30-day, 90 days, 6 months, and then every 6 months after that. Raises and different kind of more time off or whatever benefits kind of happen every 6 months. We reevaluate that. That is how we keep the structure going and honest, open feedback. We always do those reviews. You know, if you've been doing this for years, every 6 months, it's got to keep happening. That's super duper important. That kind of helps with the management and how we manage. Let's talk nuts and bolts. You need to have a good task management and project management system. We use one called Rike, W-R-I-K-E. Nothing fancy about Rike. There's Asana, there's all the Basecamp stuff. Everybody seems to have one now. Even Google has their own version of that. The iPhone has its own version of that. Just so it's a team sharing project and task management thing. If you like it and you like the colors and you like the format and the way it works out, I see this one called Today that shows up on my Facebook feed all the time. It honestly doesn't matter. They all do about the same things. What matters is that you and your team, let me say you and your team again. I say it because I'm the worst, right? My team member follows our processes and our tasks and our systems. They have to keep me in check and keep me on it. I'm the entrepreneur. I'm probably the crazy one. They're the ones who are really good at the structure. So make sure that you have a good project and task management system and that you have a good online cloud-based file management system. We use Google. You can use Dropbox or any of the Windows 360, whatever it is that you like. Go for it. Good online file management system where you can share documents at the appropriate security levels, and a task and project management system where you can do the same. Share and communicate inside that. We don't email a bunch between our team members, hardly ever. We text and use WhatsApp a little bit if there's something that needs to be dealt with right away, but typically we try to keep that all inside the project management suite. Okay, that keeps all the notes and everything in one spot. Really helps with the communication and the management. Scott, you asked, what's the Google one? Great question. So I don't know if you're talking the file or the task management system. So the Google Apps for Work. If you Google Google Apps for Work, there's a Google Suite that has your email. You can brand your email to have it with your agency name. A Google Drive that you can put all your files and folders into. We use exclusively Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google presentations. We don't use anything Mac or Word related. Or PC related. We just stay within the Google system. It's so much easier for everybody, no matter what platform or location they're working in. You can track everything. They also have task management and calendaring and some project management in Google. You can use that. But honestly, Google's amazing at searching for things on the internet and at document and data storage and building documents and those kind of things. They're not super great at task and project management, so we use Rike, W-R-I-K, again for that. And I can drop, if you'd like me to, just to make it easier for everybody. I'm to Rike.com, pull up here, and I'll drop it in the comments so you guys can have it right there. And click RIKE in here. WKE.FM. I'll put a link on that one. There you go. So there's Rike. And then we house all of our documents in Google. There you go, Scott. Yeah, so Scott, I think I answered your project task management. Again, Google's not the best for that. Rike is where we go for that. But again, Asana, the Basecamp systems today, there's lots of great project and task management systems that actually link up to Rike, not Rike, or Google Drive or Dropbox or Windows 360 or whatever file management system you use in the cloud. It's a cloud-based file management system like Google, Google Drive, and then a task and project management system. But again, Rike is where we go to for that. Great questions. Let me know if I didn't clarify that good enough for you. That's how we manage and work with our staff. All right, what you do in your agency. If you do creative work on video, if you're ads, if you're site building, if you're funnel building, if you're photo editing, if you're a copywriter, whatever it is that you do, your work can be accomplished virtually. Most of your work is probably on your computer as it is, unless you're literally holding a camera for part of the job, but then it goes back into the computer. That can be handled anywhere. Virtual staff members are just so great. Yep. Yeah, Scott. I've seen that as well. I've never used that system, PODIO, but it sounds great. Again, in my mind, here's if you're already using a system and you get tempted by this, is not you, Scott, but if you're using a system like I'm using Rike, or you're using system Scott's using or Asana or whatever, and then you see a new ad come up and you're like, oh my gosh, this new system, I saw it on Facebook and so is marketing it, Russell Brunson, he's marketing this new system. What does he use? They use the one with the little flashcards. I forget what that one's called. Anyway, they're all really, really similar. Unless there's a really compelling reason to shift systems, don't. If your system's working and it's efficient for you and your team, use it. You need to have like a 10x multiplier in efficiency or something really big in order to make a shift like that, because often that's just a shiny object. So stick with one you like, pick one, go with it. They do the same things. Get it done, get the work done, what it looks like, how it feels, whatever, the newest flashiest thing. There will be a new, better one next month, I promise. There always is. Same with iPhones or computers, right? Stick with one that works for you. It's all about executing the real work in your agency, and that has so little to do with actually what your task management system looks and feels like. Pick the one you like and rock with it. Rike is not the coolest one. It's not that flashy, but it gets the job done. We've been using it for several years and we're very happy with it. Okay, let's talk. So that's how to find your VA, right? Hiring them, then how to work with them, the system structures, how to do the accountability and the reviews, things like that. Now let's talk about, let's go south on this for a minute. Let's say it's not working out. How do you fire or let a VA go? Well, again, we have a contract in place with our VAs. It's very structured, and there's an agreement there, and then we live to that via the 30-day, 90-day, 6-month, and year reviews, and then every 6 months after that. So there's a constant conversation about what's working and what's not. We don't get a year into a VA relationship and think, oh my goodness, what have we done? We get 30 days in, and often we don't even get that far. You know when you know. This is a lot like dating or relationships. Obviously, that's not in a professional sense, but think personal relationships for a second. You go out with somebody on a date and if you're like 5 dates in and you're still wondering if you even want to hang out with this person, or they're just bugging you, or they're just not working, then quit, move on, right? Move on. It's better for you and the person you're dating. Same with a staff member, virtual or local. If you're weeks into this thing and you're just not fitting and gelling and working as a team, and they can't catch on to what you want to do, you can't catch on to the way they think, move on. Every time you move on, really take a close look and make sure it's not you, because often as the entrepreneurs, we're a little bit crazy brained. Make sure it's not you, but move on, put a good structure in place, take the time it takes to build and work with any staff member, virtual or local. And if they're not working out, move on. Be nice to them, be nice to you, be honest, and move on. Amen. We are always honest and we are always nice at our agency. They have to be, we have to be. That's how we do it. You can be that way as a boss too. Trello, yes. Scott, back to that. What does ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson use? They do use Trello. That's another great one. Again, I've looked at that one. Again, shiny object syndrome. I decided not to because it wasn't going to actually do anything better than what we already had. They're all great. Most of them are. Pick one that you like. Um, yes, Scott, great quote. When someone shows you their true self, believe in them the first time. I love that quote. I've seen that quote too. And to add to that quote, if you find out after a few weeks that it wasn't their true self and they were lying, then move on nicely, right? It's amazing how good we can come across in interviews. So let's talk about what to do when you have to move out. Firing someone is never a fun thing to do, but honestly, the more honest and early on you can have, what's up, Bruno? Good to see you. The earlier you can have the conversation and let them know, hey, this isn't working out. You're a fantastic person. Wish you the best, but we have to move on, the better. We try to honor that relationship unless someone has done something like dishonest, meaning they're cheating on their time card, their hours, which by the way, when it comes to timekeeping, we keep that up in a spreadsheet, just real simple, straightforward. And we can kind of match up the kind of work that's being done with the time that's taking, you know your business, you know how long it should take. Even if they're a newbie, we can give a little padded time there, but it still should move on. If they're cheating or doing something wrong, not being nice, professional, cheating, stealing, not being honest, then we move on immediately. It's a done deal. If it's just simply that they're not quite capable of doing the work and we've trained, we've tried, but they don't fit for some reason and it's not a bad thing, then we really try our best to let them go with a little bit of income to go with them, like finish out the pay period, even if we pay every 2 weeks. So even if they got let go 2 days into the pay period, we try to finish out that pay period. Sometimes we actually finish out the whole month because we really want to make sure we know it's hard. I've been in a situation where I've been let go before, right? We've all been fired at some point in our lives, and it's hard, and you want to have a cushion. You need a little time to catch that next gig. So we try to just be gracious and kind on the way out, just like we would if they were still working with us. They're still wonderful people, no matter if they're working local or virtual or where they are in the world. And you want to be kind and gracious and help them on to their next thing at the same time being right and true to your agency and what your cash flow is. So that's how we let people go. We do it very kindly. We document it. We write emails back and forth that say, here's a summary of the conversation we've had. We're ending the contract. We'd like to pay you for the next, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, as you find a transition. And often, if we've closed sections of our business and had to transition, we actually write even referral letters, give them to whom it may concern. So and so has been fantastic to work with. Wish them all the best. Because there's not a character issue there. I want to help this person move on as kindly and graciously as possible. So that is how we fire. Let me know if that's not enough information for you there. I'm going back to questions here. These are great questions. Um, if they're not meeting expectations, how do you fire? Just deal with that. Great. If they're not needing to be fired, which is hopefully the case, or not moving for that reason, then our goal is to keep working with that person. So often our VAs start, this is pretty much the case, they start at a pretty low level of hours, and they're working with us for an hour or 2 or 3 a day, sometimes 4 hours a day. But usually it's 2 or 3 hours a day. That seems to be the norm. And then over the first few weeks, we kind of figure out who they are. And then we start offering them more and more work, and we start taking over more and more of their professional lives. And that's very intentional. We want to find the right people for the whole team. We don't want to sink 40 hours of work into someone who's not going to work out in 2 weeks, unless that person is just an obvious fit and we know they're going to fit and we've gone through lots of process with them already. But we do our best to try to make sure that when we go through, hey, thanks. We try our best to make sure that when we go through this process, that we're really honoring who they are. And as they're growing with us, we want to give them more responsibility, right? And more projects, more things that line up with their skill set. And so they're winning more and more, and our agency is winning more and more. So start with 2 or 3 hours. That's our norm per day. And then we grow that into an 8-hour-a-day job is our goal. And we try to do that as fast as we can ramp them up. So if we have the work for them, we want to get them ramped up quickly. really in that 30 to 90 day mark. Okay. Typically, we're really good at our processes. So we know if we have a person coming in, we know how to scale our agency really quickly to, to meet the new amount of work we can get done with this new staff member, so we can start giving them more and more projects. And that'll go on through a review process, and they're making more money, they're getting more hours, and that's a win-win for everybody. The reason we like to hire someone and take over their entire professional life, their 8 hours a day, whatever they've got to give, is because we found it to be a way better fit when we're not one of three bosses they have. A lot of VAs typically work with more than one employer, because a lot of people starting with VAs are working, 1 or 2 hours a day with the VA because they're trying to do it on a budget. So as soon as we can, what's up, Jody? As soon as we can, we try to move them into a full-time position with us. If they only want to work part-time, great, they can work part-time. We just want to be their entire focus. That way, our projects are on their mind. There's something that happens. We don't want our staff ever working on weekends or nights if they don't want to. Even our virtual staff, some of them work during the night, like virtual meaning overseas, like on the other side of the globe from us. Some of them work during the night, their time. Some of them work during the day, their time. We don't honestly have a structure that forces that. We want them to work when it's best for them and their family and their lifestyle. That's really cool because we want happy staff, right? But but if they're exclusively working with us, whenever those hours are, then during the nights and weekends when they're not working, they're still thinking about work. You take work home in your head. We're not asking anyone to take work home and keep on their laptop and keep going. A lot of them work literally from home. You get that. But I'm saying when they're off hours, we don't want them to keep working. But there's a lot of value that you'll receive as an agency owner when your people work just with you. That's really, really cool. There's extra magic that happens in a human's head in the off hours, that they come back to work refreshed and ready to go, like, hey, I thought of something last night, and boom, there it is. That's the idea we needed. So we try to get them on our team exclusively as soon as possible. So there we go. We've talked about the hiring process. We've talked about where to find them, how to find them, if they're virtual staff members in your hometown, in your country, or across the globe, wherever you are. We've also talked about how to go through the accountability process and keep them structured and your relationship structured and good, open, honest communication. We've talked about how to fire somebody if they have to go away. We've talked about how to advance them if they get to stay with you. I'm going to say one more thing about advancement, and then I'm going to wrap it up here in a second. If there's any more questions, fire away. Otherwise, I'll wrap this one up and we will talk again. The next steps to advancement, once they become kind of fully on our team, then we want to help people go up and up and up based on their skill sets and their interests. Okay. So some of our staff members, I'm thinking of one, you know who you are if you're watching. She's been with us for 5 years. She's fantastic. She lives in the Pacific Ocean, the South Pacific. I won't get any more pinpoint than that, but she is awesome. And she's been offered different places and opportunities in Scenthold, again, my agency called Scenthold, and she has chosen and been able to craft a lot of the space that she fills and the tasks and projects that she does. My executive administrator and also the director of marketing for Scenthold, again, my agency, I'm not trying to plug Scenthold. Unless you're a surgeon in a subspecialty in a rural community, you're not my client. This is not me trying to sell you on our agency work. We have a super tight niche. You should too. But the person on our team who's our director of marketing, she has carved out the space that she wants to hold in our organization. We really try to offer our staff an opportunity to do that, because just like me as the entrepreneur, I want to do what I love. I'm best at doing what I love. I'm really horrible to go home grumpy when I get to do the things I hate doing, right? So there's a lot of people out there in the world who are fantastic, who want to do certain things. And we try to fill each position with people who want to do, and then let the ones who stay with us longer and longer and longer continue to craft the role and the responsibilities that they have, what they do. That seems to be the best fit for us and how we run our agency. All right, folks. Oh, more questions. Okay, Scott, what about hiring more senior people on a contract basis, i.e. strategists, account managers, etc.? Yes, we do that. If you look at our website, there are people on our website that are on our team And we have an executive suite, that like a C-suite, chief operating officer, chief human resource officer, chief marketing officer, chief finance officer. I'm a functioning recovering CEO, let's call it that. So there's different roles that we fill in our agency, and we outsource a lot of that. So we hire very high level people for different jobs that we have. We keep them engaged contractually. But a lot of the folks that are at that super high level, because they're expensive, they come and go from projects. So they're part of our team. They are doing other consulting work on their own, or they work for a larger corporation or whatever. They're an expert in their field, and we bring them in on a per project basis, per hour or per project, depending on the need for them. And we do the same 1099 contract with them, so they're a contract employee, not an actual employee, and we pay them by the hour for their services. And we, in a sense, white label their services, so we're marking up their cost, um, and passing that on to our client as a member of our team. That's how we do that. It's a great question. Scott, uh, that's the growth challenge I'm facing. People with skills I need don't seem available part-time / contract. I would keep hacking away at that, Scott. I totally understand that. I really do. And we found via LinkedIn or Facebook or other people you might know in this community or others. This community is only 3 weeks old, but this community or others you can dive into and maybe find someone who's willing to pick up, a couple hours a weekend, doing, if it's an execution job digitally or doing consulting work or whatever, all the way up to folks that we've paid to fly into other locations and actually do the group work or consulting work for some of our clients. But you can find those people, they're out there. And a lot of people, even though they might be expensive, if you're just getting them for a few hours, you can afford it, your client can afford it, you can make some money on that, and you can provide the person you're finding with a great opportunity to make some extra cash and grow professionally and make new connections and all sorts of things. Have an agreement in place, though. The big thing is always have an agreement in place with those people, because you want to make sure they're not going to roll into your client's office and steal your client or something like that. We work with folks who are really high integrity, so we've never had that issue. But, just because I trust people and meet wonderful people that I get to trust, I still have a contract in place, because you never know. You just want to make sure you're actually all squared away. Contracts keep friends. Not having a contract, you lose your friendships, right? I think we will wrap this up. That is how to hire, fire, lead, and build a team. It's been awesome talking to you guys. Again, if there's any questions, fire them away. Otherwise, we'll keep doing this. So here's the format for this group. If you have a comment or question and you want to add value, please drop it in there. Tell us what you do. Tell us how you can help. If you've got questions for me, drop them in any of the comment threads if it's relevant to that post, or shoot me a message. And we're kind of banking those in them together and then trying to find this kind of training to make sure that we all get to grow the agency. So you should be able to grow your agency very, very systematically with the right processes and the right people. And you should be able to do it very, very quickly. I'm not here to teach you how to market and run Facebook ads. There's so many people in this group who are experts at that, or building a website, or building a funnel, or making the best video for your new post, whatever. There's so many people who are those kind of experts. I am here, and this group is here to show you and teach you and help each of us build the right foundational pillars, the processes that go in place for our agencies to rapidly be able to scale past our own capacities, and to find the people to be able to help do that. And at the same time, be able to finance that process on your own so that you can grow rapidly, afford the growth, and then scale it because you have the right machine in place. That is the point of all this. So ask your questions. We'll keep diving in. We actually have a white labeling conversation booked for tomorrow. I'll shoot a little message out about that. That's where you take your information, who you are as a brand, and let someone else sell it on your behalf, and you get to execute the work and they actually sell it, or vice versa. You could be selling someone else's services to your clients and calling it your own. That's in essence white labeling. We've done a ton of that both ways, and we'll walk you through how to do that safely and efficiently on a training tomorrow. Awesome. Talk to you guys soon. I'm going to jump off here and grab some lunch. Y'all have a great one. Bye-bye.